And I would like to introduce myself. I'm Sam Liam, the Chief Ambassador for California MAP Initiative. We'll be joined by Shelly Hess. I'm going to stop sharing my screen as we introduce each other. Shelly, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Shelly Hess. I'm the Dean of Instructional Services for the San Diego Community College District.
Candace Rose.
Hi, I'm Candace Rose. I'm from Palomar College. I'm faculty in our Media Studies Department, and I am also the Credit for Prior Learning Coordinator.
And Nichol.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nichol Rowe, and I am the Associate Dean for Workforce Development and Extended Studies at Palomar College. And I'm also the lead administrator for Credit for Prior Learning at our college and in our for our regional work group as well.
Great. Thanks, Nichol. And Pedro.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pedro Campos. I'm the MAP Chief Architect and a proud member of the CI California MAP Initiative.
Thanks, Pedro. Hi, Brook.
Hi, I'm Brook Goins, and I am a Success Manager for MAP, the California MAP Initiative.
Great. Let me share my screen again. So today we'll talk with you about why CPL is worth the effort, and then we'll go over what credit recommendations are and where they come from. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a model CPL experience, if there is one. And then we'll give you a demo of using MAP for non-military CPL in areas like industry certifications. There we go. Okay, Nichol, I think this first slide is yours.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Yes, so why is CPL worth it? So credit for prior learning has a major impact on our working adults because it validates their experiences. And community colleges that provide credit for prior learning are able to serve this population in really meaningful ways. According to a survey conducted by the Strata Education Network, adults without degrees rank a satisfying and steady career at the same level as basic needs, such as food or rent. And fewer than 1/3 of adults actually believe that they understand how to navigate their educational opportunities. So through educational planning with credit for prior learning, we can help get these students on a pathway. 52% of adults did not believe that a good job was attainable, and they cited several reasons. And you'll notice that 3 of those reasons are things that we can actually help with. So, employer-supported training and education, lack of skills and credentials, and not knowing where to begin. So those are ways that we can actually make an impact at the community colleges. And then also next slide, please. According to the same survey, while 25% of Americans without a college degree do not believe college would help them, 69% say that a degree or certificate would provide an advantage to a very strong, would provide them a very strong advantage. And we know that higher levels of education a person has, the salary attainment opportunities are also greater for those individuals. 84% of adults say that a credit for prior learning option would strongly influence their choice of college or university. And that's because students are going to do their research and they're going to shop around and they're going to go to the college or university that gives them the most valuable credit for those prior experiences. Unfortunately, 11% or fewer actually receive credit for prior learning. And one reason might be our CPL petition or application process, if there is one. So the real question for the group is whether or not we're making it easy for our students to find out about credit for prior learning and if we're providing them those opportunities.
Okay, and then this is what I powered through in the previous session, but maybe we can take it just a little bit slower. The CALE did a large study of over 25,000 adult learners between the ages of 25 and 35, I believe the age gap was, the age range was, and found that if you awarded 15 units of credit to adult learners, they complete at 49 versus 27% rate. And when they take all other factors out, just look at that 15 units of CPL, that it's a 17% bump in completion, which is amazingly large influence or impact on completion. And it's an equitable bump. So we see that our Latinx students completed a 24% higher rate, our Black students at 14% higher rate. Those who go to community college just those who go to community college, regardless of their demographic, have a 25% increase in completion. And if you receive Pell, it's a 19% bump in completion. And, you know, if you think about it, the reduced time to degree of 9 to 14 months is huge. Not only that, if you look at our average time to completion of 6 years, if you get a CPL bump and you're completing 9 to 14 months earlier, you might actually end up taking more units and compressing your overall time to completion even further. The savings for students is between $1,500 and $10,200 for industry credentials. Now, if you looked at veterans alone, their savings is around $68,000 because they are saving on their housing allowance and the tuition, as well as a book allowance. And that is an average savings in California. Also, contrary to popular belief, those who receive CPL actually achieve 17.5 more units at the college than those who wouldn't. So if you hear folks say that, hey, we're giving away units and we're going to suffer a drop in FTES, it's really not true. You find that students are much more committed, invested to the college when they get CPL, and they stick around and they complete their degree. And also, this is a great opportunity for access and outreach with quick and affordable credentials that we offer to our adult learners that are tied to probably their current career. And also, studies have actually shown a significant improvement in validation and motivation and belonging to college. Often, adult learners who receive CPL are first-time college-going attendees, and it's a great boost to their morale when they receive that CPL. Shelly.
Hey. So a few weeks ago, I went to a book signing and panel discussion of A College for All Californians, A History of California Community Colleges. And it's an excellent book. I recommend everyone reads it. But one of the chapters of the book is a discussion by George Boggs about the evolution of California Community College's mission. And Boggs talks about the importance of community colleges accommodating the needs of, and he specifically calls out returning veterans, immigrants, and displaced employees, to name a few. He highlights how community colleges programs help serve the needs of local business and industry. And he finishes the chapter discussing how community colleges are ever evolving and how they play a critical role in the livelihood of our students, our citizens of the state, and the future of our state. So today, as you think about the mission of community college, think about how CPL can be used as a mechanism to combat income inequality, help our adult reentry students not only access higher education, but also save them time and money. Envision how your college can work with industry partners to leverage CPL opportunities. So if that isn't convincing enough, not only is CPL life-changing for our students, it's mandated by Title V. And as I believe Dr. Lee had talked about in our first session, that upon a completion of a student educational plan, Title V mandates that we refer them to assessment for prior learning if the student is a veteran, active duty member of the armed forces, holds industry recognized credentials, or requests credit for a course based on their prior learning.
And Nichol.
Hi there. Yes. So, are we meeting our mission? So here we wanted to show you an opportunity that University of Phoenix is offering, in which they're awarding 30 units of credit to incoming students who have completed a post academy. So for those who may not know what post is essentially the accrediting body for police academies. So if you have a police academy on your campus, it's likely a post approved program. And this is actually an advertisement that was on the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation website. And it really highlights how colleges can make it easy for students and actually use credit for prior learning as an enrollment strategy. And as we know, we provide a more affordable option to students through the California Community College system than the University of Phoenix does. And you also notice University of Phoenix doesn't tell students up front what units they're actually earning credit for. And so that's something that we can also do, where we can actually provide that information to them. And so we'll go ahead and go to the next.
Let me just comment on this, Nicole. This advertisement for University of Phoenix CPL for post completion comes from this website of the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and just made me think that I don't believe they paid for that advertisement. I believe the CDCR or they're advertising this to their unit members as an opportunity because of the CPL, and made me think, that's probably a niche we should be occupying in the California community colleges. Nevertheless, go ahead, Candace and Nichol. So it looks like we are occupying that niche.
So we are doing exactly what the Phoenix University is doing, but with no cost. So you'll see at Palomar College, we have now aligned these administration of justice courses to the post certification for our police officers. And you can see that they can earn up to 30 credits. So the cost is zero. We let them know up front what they can earn, and then to continue and complete their associate's degree. So this is all the major prep for that degree in law enforcement, their AS degree in law enforcement. They can then take their general education courses to complete that.
Yeah, let me see if I can open this exhibit. Is that showing on your screen?
It is.
Okay, great. So if we were to look at this like a military exhibit for credit that ACE produces, this is how it might look if we created this using MAP or in another fashion, where we display the description of the skills that would be demonstrated through this post certification, and those skills come from the course descriptions from Palomar, and the evidence of the competency. This is like a documentation backup that we can use for why we would grant credit to a particular student with a particular certification. And so here, the evidence of competency is California Post Regular Basic Course Certificate. They have a certificate. And the faculty at Palomar have analyzed that and made these credit recommendations. Those credit recommendations line up with courses at Palomar. And so we list the courses on the left, and we show the credit recommendations on the right, and the total credits that would be awarded and the program of study that would be awarded. Now, once we create this exhibit, we can store this and offer it to any student, and it can be the backup for any student that comes with that same certification. That'll be available in the slide deck after the summit. Go ahead, Candace or Nichol, sorry.
So this is an Officer Guerra, police officer with the San Diego Police Department, came to us this summer. We actually just rolled out this program this summer. So he's one of our first to go through and petition for credit for prior learning. He is a first-time college student, earned those credits in the Administration of Justice courses with his post-certification. And this really was his gateway into college. He is now enrolled in a course to move forward with his associate's degree as well.
Oh, my name is Anthony Guerra. I've been a police officer with the city of San Diego for just shy of 2.5 years, and prior service with U.S. Customs Border Protection for just shy of 4 years. With combined service, Candace Rose and her team at Palomar College has really helped me out with CPL. CPL, the credit for prior learning was incredible, and essentially what they did was they took the academy I went to at Southwestern College Police Academy in 2015, and they combined that time along with my post certificate that I received after a year of service here with San Diego Police Department, And combined, they were able to put that towards the administration of justice. And that whole program that's provided at Palomar, they essentially gave me credit, 30 credits for not even being at Palomar College. It's basically saying, hey, you've attended an academy, you've been in service as a police officer for X amount of time. With all that training, all that experience, and all that time on, they essentially were able to assist me in that. And by receiving a transcript with 30 official credits, I was able to forward that to my agency, and the human resources team was able to give me my intermediate post a lot sooner. And ultimately, that's what people want to achieve, because it comes with a little more money, a little more respect, and it's just something that I feel has been earned. And Candace Rose and her team really helped me out. So I highly, highly encourage you to do so. If you're prior service, prior military, I myself just recently joined the U.S. Coast Guard. I'm swearing in November 1st. Really excited about that new challenge. But again, just want to jump on here real quick just to inspire those brothers in blue, those officers, those military personnel. Do it. It saves you energy, time away from your families. All you have to do is provide your certificates or the training that you've completed thus far, and let them take it from there. CPL, credit for prior learning, worked for me. It can work for you. Take care now. Bye.
Candace, any last thoughts on that wonderful story?
Well, the great thing is when Anthony got his transcript and he turned it into his HR department, he got a 6.5% raise, and his email started with "glorious day." And it was a really glorious day. So those are the stories. These are the students that we are, touching their lives, making a difference, and they are getting credit for what they already know and can do, and it's getting them a jump start on their education. So he's just one of my favorite stories.
And before we move on, there's a quick question in the chat about how this credit shows up on the transcript. And so yes, these classes are actually transcribed on the transcript. It's designated, I believe these ones go through as an industry credential. So it says prior learning assessment industry credential on, or it says industry credential, and it aligns with the post certification on the transcript. So it comes in that way as other credits, similar to like ABIB credits come in. And then did he have to take units at Palomar before receiving credit? This is a big discussion on campus, but no, Title V states that only for credit by exam, students must be registered in the college. And so we were actually able to get him these credits before he took classes. He did end up enrolling in a Fast Track 2 course though. So if you think about this as an enrollment strategy, right? So we benefited him in his career and being able to get that higher pay rate. But now he's actually excited about going to school and finishing a degree.
Absolutely. And just to clarify too, on the transcript at our college, they actually write out what what the industry certification is. So like Nichol said, it will actually say the course and then post certification.
That's great. I think we have an example of your of a transcript on the slide deck at the opening, right? With so we can share that. It'll be available to folks in a previous slide deck. And yeah, and I understand that Anthony is also in an associate's degree program now as well. And so I think when he completes that, I imagine he might get another pay bump or another opportunity for advancement. So that's just really wonderful, wonderful stuff. Okay, let me go back to sharing my screen. So I wanted to highlight for you that in the US, there are about 550,000 non-degree credentials in the US. So the potential is really huge for CPL. There's something else I want to highlight too. I'm not sure if my toolbar at the top obscures it, but this is, you see the 2019 column. Let me see if I can annotate that for you. The 2019 column here of certificates, certifications, and credentials offered in the US were 234,000. Whereas in, let's see if I can move this out. In this year, it's 549,000. So it just basically doubled. And I imagine you could figure that out pretty quick, that COVID had a lot to do with that and the proliferation of online opportunities for credentialing. And I think a lot of that has to do with workplace opportunities for credentialing. Google has a partnership with Coursera, and they offer free or low cost, I think it's monthly, $39 a month, something like that, to access the Coursera courses for Google certification. And so I think those are really proliferating. And that's an opportunity for us to align with those certificates, grant CPL, and then get those students to access higher education opportunities in addition to those certifications. So it's a great, there's great potential out there. This is mine as well. So when you are granting credit for prior learning for industry credentials or for military, the source is going to be the ACE Military Guide. The last 30 years, ACE has been analyzing, bringing faculty from regionally accredited universities together to analyze the curriculum and training materials for service members, and they make credit recommendations. And those credit recommendations are for course credits at colleges and universities. The credit recommendations that they make are made by consensus among the faculty members. If there's not consensus, then they don't make the credit recommendation. And it's a very rigorous process for bringing faculty together to train them and to analyze the materials. And as much as we've learned about ACE Military Guide training, and it seems to be quite rigorous and legitimate, and we have a growing trust in their credit recommendations. Now, on the other end, for industry credentials, there's ACE National Guide. ACE National Guide, and I have a link to it here as well, offers credit recommendations for all sorts of certifications and credentials and licenses. In addition, there's an organization called NCCRS, National College Credit Recommending Service, and they also offer credit recommendations based on non-military certifications. And often the NCCRS organizations that join NCCRS or make use of their services, they're non-accredited institutions, or they're governmental and civic agencies, they're exam providers, licensing board, industry standards agencies, state and federally approved training institutions. A lot of those state and federally approved training institutions, they're similar to the non-accredited institutions. They don't grant, they're not accredited to grant higher education credit, but they do offer certifications in line or aligned with all the requirements of those state and federal agencies. And so what we have as an opportunity is to align with those certifications and turn those into credit at our colleges. When we do that, everyone really benefits, and the college receives credit when colleges grant credit for verified qualifications. So here's an example of the ACE National Guide. So here's an exhibit, and this exhibit is for ASE certification in engine performance, ASE 7 certification. So if you were an automotive technician and you took the exam for ASE 7 certification, you were granted that certification. The ACE National Guide folks have analyzed that coursework with faculty from accredited institutions and determined that it should qualify for 4 credits in engine performance at a college that offers this. And that's available on ACE National Guide. NCCRS also, as mentioned, does the same thing. It has been since 1973, has been doing this. And I think I've described that they coordinate in similar fashion with college faculty. And they have 1,500 institutions of higher learning. Sorry, let me go back. 1,500 institutions of higher learning as members or that use or that rely on the NCCRS credit recommendations. By the way, you can become affiliated with NCCRS, and when you are, there's the opportunity to receive students from institutions non-accredited institutions or all those other types of agencies that grant certifications, if you create articulations on those and get listed with NCCRS, then those students who complete those certifications will see your program and may end up at your institutions. So that's the opportunity for us. And so here is an example of NCCRS, the institutions that are listed on NCCRS. One that we've been working with recently is NOCTI and NOCTI Business Solutions. And here's the information on becoming an NCCRS cooperating college. And just mention, helps you attract students from member institutions. Okay, so then this is an example from NOCTI. And don't ask me what NOCTI stands for. It took me a while to find it online. It's an older organization that changed their name since. But NOCTI is really a testing organization. They do assessment, psychometric services, which is validity and evidence to support testing certification programs. So they actually test for certifications, and they offer certification and digital badging. And then, so they offer a number, and this is very common in business solutions, accounting, maintenance, building maintenance, supply chain automation, logistics, manufacturing. There are a lot of certifications listed on NOCTI. I just give it as one example. The list is long of member organizations, and so there are lots of opportunities for digging into credit credentialing and finding credit recommendations. We also can make local credit recommendations, and Miramar College has done that. And I wanted to highlight that. So these are credit recommendations from auto faculty for auto courses based on that example I showed earlier of the ASE certifications. And so they haven't relied on NCCRS or ACE National Guide, even though ACE National Guide does offer credit recommendations for ASE certifications. They have not relied on those. They've actually done their own analysis. And from what I understand, Shelly, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was a statewide effort at one point.
Yes. There was a group of automotive faculty throughout the state that got together.
Yeah, so this is an amazing collection of articulations that are already existing that we're going to be working on implementing in MAP. But Shelly, I don't know if you want to talk about a little bit about this in these credit recommendations.
Sure. So originally we were using the credit by exam model. And then when the changes occurred that expanded for industry certification, we sat down with the faculty, and they had already done the work with their group, and we were able to easily make that transition. And this was a good starting point for us, because we kind of started focusing on low-hanging fruit, like what was already existing, what were faculty already interested in working on. And this is what they came up with.
That's great. So these are available to other institutions that have auto programs. And if you those faculty felt like they could trust the work of Miramar, it's a bit of a shortcut to adopt their articulations. This is another example of Miramar articulations, and this one is for Firefighter Program. And Shelly, I just pulled this from your list that you had updated as an example. If it's not entirely accurate, forgive me, we can correct it later, but it's an example of one program, a certification Firefighter 1 that aligns with courses at the fire technology program.
Yes.
Okay. And let me play this little story.
Hi, my name is Jason Evanskos. I'm a resident of San Diego County. I'm also a firefighter for one of our local departments and an adjunct instructor for Miramar's Fire Protection Technology program. Recently, I began my journey for promotion to company officer. With an extremely busy and inconsistent schedule, taking all the required state fire training classes from one educational institution would be very unrealistic. Miramar College has been a home base for my education, but I had to branch out to complete a few classes elsewhere. Due to the credit for prior learning system at Miramar College, I was able to use a few of my hard-earned state fire training certifications for credit towards an associate's degree in fire protection technology company officer through Miramar College. Without this system, a degree for my formal education would not have been possible. Now, not only can I help advance my firefighting career, but I bring this story of having one of Miramar College's fire protection technology instructors also being a former student who earned a professional degree through the program in which he teaches. I thank everyone involved for this opportunity, and I look forward to serving our community and training the future of our profession. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Shelly, for sharing that story from Jason. And I don't know if you caught that, but he's now an adjunct instructor, right, at Miramar, at the fire technology
Yes.
program. That's pretty neat. Very neat. That's an amazing upward mobility, social mobility story that we would love to see replicated all over the state. So I thought maybe we would transition a bit and talk about a model student CPL experience. We had some discussions in our hallway lately where we don't at Norco College have a model CPL experience. And so we've been thinking through what would it take to have a model CPL experience to meet the mission and the mandate. And we're thinking first, and these are just suggestions, please, for consideration. We have not figured this out. There are other colleges and districts that are much further along. I think Palomar and San Diego are much further along than us. And so these are just giving us suggestions, but I'm suggesting that we start by flipping the CPL petition process to meet the mandate and somehow add to our application or onboarding process and a way to identify applicants and students for CPL on our college application, orientation, or SEP process. A way to identify them up front so that we can make them upfront offers, for instance, to Officer Guerra to come to college and pursue a degree. The next step would be to collect evidence in that process, like JSTs, Joint Services Transcripts, certifications, and standardized exams, so that we have them to analyze. And then the next would be, we need a process for using procedures in a system to analyze, articulate, counsel, and apply our credits to SEP, and then transcribe them. That's where we're working to make MAP that process to house and facilitate all the steps needed to take students from a list, analyze their certificates and credentialing, apply credit, or create articulations so that you can apply credit, and then transcribe, and then be able to report out on that. If you could incorporate these steps, it would, of course, presume you have clarified your CPL roles and responsibilities at all levels and provided any needed resources, which is a high hill to climb and one we're starting to climb ourselves. If we could do this, in order to benefit, we need to take these steps. We need to add CPL to our program pathways and onboarding. We need to maintain a list of all eligible applicants and students so we can analyze. We need to create, track, and adjust our student CPL plan along the way. We need to seamlessly involve faculty. I hope you don't get an impending sense of doom that this is difficult. We're thinking through how to make this, how to facilitate all these processes to make it possible. And a way to empower our students with CPL info and tools on the front end. That's why we're thinking of Phoenix. They're giving that information and attaching it in their pathways at the front end, and then they're advertising that. And then they're getting those students from the corrections department to come to Phoenix. Well, we want to have them coming to the California Community College system. And then we want to link with regional and local industry. An example of that is some of the partnerships we have with Target, where we're taking their apprentices who are training on advanced manufacturing. Target set up a little schoolhouse in Fontana, and they have robotic machinery to teach automated warehousing technicians. And we're working with them to translate their certification from the target training into credit in our automated warehousing program and give them certifications. And by doing that, we're able to build this strong tie with Target and with their employees now getting upward mobility because of the CPL. Here's some changes to consider, Shelly.
Okay, so a few days ago, a friend sent me a meme that said, I can't be held responsible for what my face does when you talk. And while images of this meme may conjure up some images of sarcasm for you, it was very fitting because those who know me know I don't have a poker face. I just can't hide my expressions. And oftentimes my vice chancellor will look at me in a meeting if she wants immediate feedback or a candid response because she knows that my face will tell it all. So you can only imagine my facial expression when Dr. Lee first presented these ideas to the MAP work group. And then again, when he asked me to present them to you today. So I'll be the first to admit this all sounds overwhelming. And at San Diego, while we've made huge strides in CPL, we're still not there yet. We're still working through all of these. And yes, some of these recommendations scare me. I know they're a heavy lift and I know they'll take a lot of resources, but they are aspirational goals and in alignment with the spirit and vision of the CPL mandate. So with that said, had to give that disclaimer at the beginning. Some of the changes to consider, and again, this is where we are still working at, is ensuring that CPL is at the beginning of the student journey, that we're advertising, that students know. And that's something a few weeks ago, one of the presidents of one of the colleges said, we're not doing anything with CPL. And I told my boss, I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like leaders in this area. So make sure you know, make sure everyone on campus knows. Ensure that the student educational plan is informed by the CPL plan, and make sure you have a website, which we're hoping to launch for San Diego within the next couple of weeks. I guess we can move to the next part, and this is the really bold and brave strategy that Dr. Lee wants us to consider. If you want to go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you have to present this. I'll present. If you want to back away from the table, I would.
So one of the ideas is to really make sure we're at the front of this, is to put CPL at the beginning of the student journey, is to put it in NCCC Apply. And we can do this by asking a few brief overview questions at the very, very beginning. Did you know that you may qualify for college credit based on your experience? And give them that opportunity up front to provide their evidence for prior learning.
Yeah. And I would say as well, after having some conversations with Candace, who's tried this at Palomar, and they backed away from this because it unleashed a torrent of requests for CPL analysis. And so they had to back away from it. So I would say this is an option, and it would be added to your college portion, your college application portion of CCC Apply. And one of the recommendations would be to, if you have this, to have a bounce back email to students acknowledging their CPL and the documents received and any next steps. And then that the bounce back email goes to the CPL coordinator and appropriate personnel. And so that you would have kind of a funneling effect. If you got 1,000 replies on CCC Apply, yes, please give me CPL, that you'd have a funneling bounce back email process to get down to those who really have some form of certification to analyze. Sorry, Shelly, I think I just stole your slide.
It's all good. You covered it. My main thing was make sure if you do add it to CCC Apply that you have that, you close that loop and students know where to go from there.
Great. And here's the CPL process we're thinking, that you would upload evidence to a shared system such as MAP and then analyze for articulation opportunities. This would create a student record and a CPL plan. And then once those articulations are approved by faculty, we have the opportunity to apply them to the student's CPL plan. Counselor meets with a student for SEP and CPL discussion. and then credit may be awarded as student nears program completion. So while we offer CPL at the outset with students, it's up to them. They might change their program, they might change their transfer institution, they might change their plans. And so we really don't award CPL until the program nears completion. And then we adjust the plan as we go. So here's how the connection takes place. So we have a credit recommendation like ASE1 certification, 4 units of engine and related systems. That's the credit. The student walks in with ASE1 certification. Hi. And we input them into the system and we pair it. We see, yes, we have a corresponding course in our system that has very similar engine and related systems, 4 units. And we use MAP to create that connection. Once we create that connection, those articulations are stored in MAP and available to future qualified students. They may be applied to the CPL plan and adopted by any other MAP college and available to students on MAP Search. MAP Search is a public search site where students can enter in. Currently, right now, it's set up for their JST, their Joint Services Transcript, or their military occupation to give them opportunity to see where they might have credit. But we're working to have MAP Search house all sorts of different certifications, including ASE1 certification. And here's how an exhibit might look for this ASE1 certification. So if we wrote this up in MAP, and we're going to give a demo of that in right now, we'll demonstrate this this procedure in MAP, and we'll bring on Brook and Pedro if he wants to make any comments. But Brook will take it away with this demo.
Today I'm going to demo how to add an exhibit within the MAP application for credit for prior learning. First, select the type of CPL. I'm going to choose Industry Certification. Then type in the CPL name. I'm going to choose Automotive Technician. Then type in the uniform title. I'm going to type in engine and related systems. Then type in the local title. Again, I'm going to put in engine and related systems. Once I've inputted this information, MAP will populate the CPL type, the title code, the version, and the revision number. You will also be able to apply a team revised date and a start date. Then you click Save. Once you've clicked Save, the information in the top portion of the screen will save, and the bottom portion will populate the exhibit details. I'm going to choose a course to align with this exhibit. I'm going to choose Auto 156G, Engine and Related Systems. Once I click this, I'm going to choose Add, and then the course will populate under the course title along with the credit, recommendation, and units associated with this course title. You will also have the ability to add evidence of competency right here. So here I'm going to choose certificate, and then you can press Save. You will also be able to add rubric items if it applies, and then if any other course has been articulated with this, it will add the local college courses articulated to this exhibit at the bottom portion of this screen. This is just a brief demo of an upcoming feature within the MAP application of how to add credit to prior learning exhibits.
Okay, thanks, Brooke, for that video. Once an exhibit is created, it may be linked to a student record in MAP in the same way a JST is linked to a veteran record. And then the course credits are pulled from the exhibit. They may be applied to the student's CPL plan and then later transcribed. Why should we do this? Well, number one, it maintains a record supporting the CPL award. So it gives you a paper trail for why the student was awarded the CPL and what justified it. It gives students an opportunity to approve or deny CPL and helps us comply with Title V 55050. It demonstrates compliance with Title 55050, and it tracks the number of CPL units awarded. So we want to be able to brag on the number of CPL units we've awarded. We can quantify the impact to our community, to our workforce, to our industry partners, and to our college community when we do that. It also makes the same credit available to future students. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Once you create this articulation, this exhibit for ASE 1 or any of your certifications, it's done. Now, any student who comes in with that certification will be able to get that credit quickly and easily. It also makes the articulation available to other colleges for adoption. We are not doing this in isolation. We're doing this as a community of colleges because we want to see CPL maximized across the state. And we have 2 minutes for discussion. Let me stop sharing my screen and see what sort of questions there might be before we are unceremoniously kicked out of our session at 10:40. Is MAP used for military, vet, and tests for all other students? MAP is used for military now. It's beginning to be used for industry. And yes, tests is a great repository for industry articulations as well. Presenters have any other thoughts they'd like to share? Great. I think we'll be, this session will close. We'll be returned to the main room where you have an opportunity to select your next track and session after a brief break, a 5-minute break. So thank you all for coming today. Thank you for attending our session. We'll see you back in the main room.